For the best talk, there's only one. HTLA Radio 1.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Yes. Good evening and welcome to a Friday Frappuccino on Saturday. Yes, it's a special edition Friday Frappuccino. We were shut down yesterday. Yes, our broadcast servers went kaput. Goodbye. Thanks for playing. We'll see you someday later. Yes, and today on the big show, of course, Anonymous claims responsibility for taking out the HTLA Broadcast servers on Friday. Also, Al Sharpton's outrage at the NYPD shooter and how to avoid Clark Griswold disasters this holiday season. Yes, see, I've got all that and so much more. So come on in and grab a cup, have a seat, and light one up. It's that time again. There you go, gang. Here it is, the big Friday program on Indeed Saturday. 32 degrees Central Park. You got it tuned to HTLA Radio 1 in New York. And we're settling in for yesterday's 3 p.m. Eastern coffee and cigarettes, the Friday Frappuccino. Yes, we are. Yes, and why, you might ask? Hey, what's going on here? Well, I was sitting there trying to get into the coffee shop yesterday, and, of course, nobody was answering the door. I was shaking on the door, and it was all chained up. I couldn't get in. I thought about throwing a chair through the glass window in front there just to get in and get my coffee and cigarettes. But you thought better of it because nobody was inside. Yeah, that's probably what it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, no. Here at HTLA Studios, yesterday early morning, around 9 a.m., actually, we were hit. Yes, we were taken down by the fine folks at Anonymous. They dumped a server virus on our servers, and of course, that pretty much that did us in. That was it. It was game over, man. Game over. We were done there. So after a very stressed out Friday and Saturday and all that good stuff, of course, and thousands of dollars, yes, we're finally back up and running. We're back up. We're on the scene. Everything's good. And so the powers that be, of course, the CEO herself decided, hey, we're not going to let the terrorists win. We're going to do the Friday show on Saturday. So there you go. Mm-mm-mm. So, you are indeed tuned. Yes, you are tuned to HTLA Radio 1 New York, Coffee and Cigarettes. I am your host, Mr. Rourke, and got a good show for you today. Jenny, of course, is in the booth with us here, and then live via satellite from the beautiful, absolutely beautiful, stunning Mill Bay Studios in Mill Bay, British Columbia, Canada, is the one and only man, director extraordinaire, actor aficionado, Louis Lawless.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show? That was a mistake on my part. Can you give me any help for $25,000? I go a half an hour. Do I get $50,000?
Yes, there he is in all his glory, looking for the money.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we always know how to spell your name, damn it.
I think it should be short and sweet.
Well, it will be, and it is, you know. There you go. So Louis is with us today on the program, and still a very brain-damaged Mr. Top. Where are you?
You know, a couple of years ago, and I thought this just happened to old men. Maybe that's saying something, I don't know. But I fell in the shower, and people made fun of me forever. They said I should have got one of those little ducky things.
With the Krusty the Clown laugh there.
You know, a couple of years ago, and I thought this just happened to old men. Maybe that's saying something, I don't know. But I fell in the shower, and people made fun of me forever. Yeah. They said I should have got one of those little ducky things. It's like my head just, it bounced off the side of it like a basketball. It just bounced, and then it hit it again, and then bounced a little bit. And I had a big knot on my head for like 3 weeks. After it was like a golf ball. It was horrible.
Well, there he is, the one and only Chris Top, ladies and gentlemen. And just a shout out there to you, Chris. I got to thank you. You know, best of the season to you and Ali and the cat and the significant other. And top of the season to you. All the best in 2015. He did actually finally, after years of loyal listenership, he finally sent me my official Chris Top program T-shirts. Yes. And I think that he thinks that I'm, well, yeah, probably close to 450 pounds, because he sent me a 4X. Yeah, 4XL. Woo, it's a tent. I'm going to use it this summer when we go camping with the kids. So yeah, enough of that. Shut up. What do we actually got on the big program today? Well, we got all kinds of good stuff on the big program today, but not before I mention that today's episode, of course, is
powered by Procast.
That's right. Terrorists can't even stop the Procast power that is abounding here.
Powered by Procast.
Oh, damn. See? There it is. And a little special holiday message to you now. From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays! He's so sexy. I love the sound of that announcer. Anywho, yes, and also the show is, of course, partially brought to you today by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City. Now with 8 locations to help you stock up on your coffee and snack goods needs this holiday season. Yes. But do we need... I think Tim Hortons actually might do better today if they stocked ammo. I'm not even kidding. No, our first story today is, well, it's sad, it's outrageous, it's on the order of Ferguson, damn it. Only this time, it's not an unarmed black teen that was killed, no. It was 2 armed police officers in their car. Yes, in New York City today. 2 New York City officers dead in an ambush execution-style shooting. 2 officers died after being shot execution-style today in their parked patrol car. In a somber press conference, New York City Police Commissioner William Bratton said the 2 officers were deliberately targeted because they were cops. He also acknowledged the danger officers take part of in the thin blue line between us and anarchy. They were, quite simply, assassinated, targeted for their uniform and the responsibility they embraced, Bratton said. Both were ambushed and murdered. Bratton said the attacker approached the officer's vehicle from the passenger side and just opened fire. Shooting his weapon several times, the officers Weijin Liu and Rafael Ramos never had a chance. They never had an opportunity to draw their weapons and were killed with no warning, no provocation. There may have never even seen their assailant, their murderer, Bratton said. The suspect, Ismail Brinsley, 28 years old, fled to a nearby subway station where he was found dead later of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Earlier Saturday, Brinsley shot his former girlfriend, injuring her at a Baltimore County, Maryland residence, Bratton said. He also posted on the victim's Instagram account where his comments indicated Brinsley had a, quote, very strong bias against police, he said. The posting will be investigated as authorities search for motive. The New York shooting happened around 3 p.m. this afternoon in the Bedford neighborhood in Brooklyn at the corner of Myrtle and Tompkins. Bratton said they have seen no connection to terrorist groups or any other organized entity thus far. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, said the attack was an attack on all New Yorkers. When a police officer is murdered, it tears at the foundation of our society. It is an attack on all of us, said de Blasio, who recently had a rocky relationship with their rank-and-file police officers over what they see as his lack of support. When they are attacked, it is an attack on the very concept of decency. The Patrolmen's Benevolent Association, the city's main police union, blamed de Blasio for the shootings. The mayor's hands are literally dripping with our blood because of his words, actions, and policies, a statement from the association read, according to the New York Times. And we have, for the first time in a number of years, become a wartime police department. We will now act accordingly. The last time an NYPD officer was shot to death in the city in the line of duty was back in 2011. Police blocked off a several-block radius around the shooting scene and shut off trains to the subway station nearby. Helicopters hovered overhead while residents peered over police tape in curiosity. Bedford resident Derek McKee said he was coming out of a restaurant a block from the scene when he heard 4 or 5 gunshots. He saw police cars speeding and rushed to the commotion. McKee said he saw one officer being carried into an ambulance in a stretcher. He was lifeless. He wasn't moving, said McKee, 49 years old. Blood covered his face. It was very chaotic, police scrambling around, he added. Eddie Perez stood outside the police tape taking pictures of the distant investigation scene with his phone. He grew up in the housing projects adjacent to the shooting scene and said that the neighborhood was never like it was Saturday night when he was growing up. It looks like a war zone here. It's disgusting, said Perez, 61, who now lives in the Bergen Beach section of Brooklyn. It just seems senseless. In a statement and series of tweets, Reverend Al Sharpton reared his ugly head. Of course. He has to. He condemned the violence. Yes. Sharpton and his National Action Network, National Action, yes, NAN, there you go, have been prominent voices in calling for police reform following the deaths of Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, and Eric Garner in New York. Yeah. Here he says, I am outraged at the killing of 2 fine police officers in Brooklyn. That's why we stress nonviolence as the only way to fight for justice, he tweeted Saturday evening. An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. We all at NAN express our prayers and condolences to the families of the 2 New York City police officers. Guess you kind of had to say that now, didn't ya? Of course. Well, the shooting comes at a time when police across the USA are being criticized for their tactics following widely publicized deaths of unarmed black men. A little more than a week after a Missouri grand jury decided in November not to indict Officer Darren Wilson on the death of unarmed 18-year-old black Michael Brown, a New York grand jury chose earlier this month not to indict Officer Daniel Ponatello in the death of Eric Garner. The decisions kicked off widespread ongoing demonstrations across the country that have included protests, marches, and die-ins inside shopping malls and other buildings along major highways where the protesters have purposely brought traffic to a standstill. Coco Reds, a Bedford resident, said the area is safe as any other in New York, but tensions have been heightened by gentrification. Reds, a black man and a construction worker, said he had been taken into custody and later released by police when he was doing nothing wrong. That's the police. That's what the police presence is for, in order to keep people like me away from people like them, Reds said, referring to a newer neighborhood resident. Oh, they don't like it when the white folk move into the neighborhood. Well, guess what? It goes both ways. We don't like it when you move into our neighborhood. But what do we get to do? Well, we get to just shut our mouths and suck it up, because that's the PC way. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Pfft. So there you go. It's okay to execute police officers in their car. Carry on with your day. Yes, but Sharpton is so outraged that there is another story about this. Yes, there is. He is coming out. That's it. He's coming out. He's going to want his own parade for being as outraged as he is. Because, you can't just be mad at something. You have to be outraged.
Use power. That's why power is corrupt, and it is. We see it every day. We see it in every job. It's the same thing.
Well, yeah, sure. And, there's that whole thing. Sure, I'm with you on that, but I don't know. I don't know how you can, be at the front of a mass public movement about being outraged that unarmed black teens and unarmed black men are getting killed by the police, and then come out and hop on the old, well, now there's armed police that are getting executed. I'm outraged. How can you be outraged at two sides of the same thing? That's what I want to know. If it's true about everything he's been outraged for what, the last 4 months now, he should be coming out on his Twitter going, "Hallelujah, the Lord has answered my prayers. There's 2 more cops dead." Shouldn't he? I mean, according to him, all the police are racist bastards that just want to see all unarmed black men dead. I mean, that's what he's been spouting for 4 months. So, I don't know. See, when I get outraged and I speak out about something, it's that thing. It's not jumping on the next thing, which happens to be completely opposite of the thing I'm just on, and be just as outraged at that. That's what we call in Canada redundant. Well, Al Sharpton is redundant now. He's too old. He's getting too old for this. What do you think, Louis? You think he's too old?
I think it should be short and sweet. They get fucking crazy because all of a sudden nobody loves them.
Ah, that's what it is. Nobody loves them.
Bullshitters!
I know, but what can you do? Well, the Reverend Al Sharpton said today he is, quote, outraged at the shooting deaths of 2 New York City police officers. Sharpton said it is reprehensible. Yes, to anyone would think, or would link, the deaths of the officers with the deaths of Michael Brown and Ferguson and Eric Gar... Whoa, wait a minute! Oh my God, this is turning into a crash talk. Are you serious? It's reprehensible that anyone would think, like I just did, that the deaths of the officers and the deaths of Michael Brown and Eric Garner are the same. Okay, all right, sure. I guess in Michael Brown's case, he was breaking the law. I guess in Eric Garner's case, he was breaking the law. And I guess in that little kid's case in the park that was waving his gun around and threatening people, well, he wasn't breaking the law. No, of course. Right. And it's not the same thing, because these are armed policemen sitting in their car. They get executed. Huh. Well, either way, it's reprehensible. He says, we have stressed at every rally and march that anyone engaged in any violence is an enemy to the pursuit of justice and a great price on Air Jordans. We have been criticized in National Action Network for not allowing rhetoric and chanting of violence that would abruptly denounce it at all of our gatherings, Sharpton said in a statement. If that's true, guys, the entire, 3,000 of you in Ferguson would have ousted the Islamic terrorists that were trying to get into your protest. You would have just done away with them. And here's a hint, I would recommend beheading, because it seems to be all the rage these days. So you should have just beheaded them. Yeah, you should have. Yeah, because it's your rally for peace. You don't tolerate anybody stepping in on your rally for peace. You behead them. That's what you do. Sharpton and his National Action Network have been prominent voices in calling for police reform following the deaths of Brown and Garner, both who died at the hands of the police. Yes. Nan has helped organize protest marches tied to their deaths, which critics say are part of a larger pattern of white police officers using excessive force against young black men. Well, that's interesting because the policeman in the Garner case is he's not white. What are you talking about? Oh, poor George Zimmerman. He wasn't white enough. CNN commentator and retired NYPD detective Harry Hook said it was people like Sharpton who are to blame for the officer's death. He said the tenor of protests has always turned ugly. Now we have 2 dead police officers, and I guess Al Sharpton got what he wanted. He said everybody's talking about killing a cop and that you've got to take a cop out for Eric Garner. And now there's 2 cops dead. On Twitter, Sharpton even used stronger language. Quote, I am outraged at the killing of 2 police officers in Brooklyn. That is why we stress nonviolence is the only way to fight for justice, he wrote. Well, here's an idea, Nan. Stop organizing protests that turn violent. There's a hint.
That was a mistake on my part.
It was not your fault.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Yeah, I live for doing these kind of stories. These are just so much fun. Morons stacked up on top of morons, stacked up on top of more morons, eventually fall over into this big, steaming pile of morons. And that's where we are. And you know what? We're going to go for our 2-minute commercial break. When we come back, we're going to tell you how to avoid those Clark Griswold-like disasters this holiday season, kind of like the first story on this show. We'll be back in 2, gang.
HTLA's Coffee and Cigarettes. For the best talk, there's only one. HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions, abundant with rich, fertile soil? What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I saved 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
15 minutes for a quote isn't how it works anymore. With Esurance, 7.5 minutes could save you on car insurance. Welcome to the modern world. Esurance, backed by Allstate. Click or call.
I've been eating Egg McMuffins since 1984. But when I saw Taco Bell made a waffle taco, I figured I would get with the times. So I got a haircut and I got some tighter pants. Lost my flip phone, got a smartphone, even took down my Loverboy poster. Now I'm eating waffle tacos and AM Crunch Wraps, and I just made like $700 on Craigslist.
Move on from your old McDonald breakfast with Taco Bell's exciting new breakfast menu.
I always said shoes are like women. They inspire beautiful music.
But what about these?
Stilettos sound like this.
What does my fragrance inspire?
That's got soul.
My ties are beautiful. They don't need music.
Bringing the stars together. That's the magic of Macy's.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
Coffee and Cigarettes, another HTLA original on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Don't sound so excited, guy. Calm down. It's okay. Because come January 1st, it's HTLA Radio 2 New York. You betcha. We're expanding. We're growing. Some new faces and voices behind the mics around here, including that man right there, Mr. Guy Shea. Yes. And, it's going to be good. Can't wait. Be on the lookout, actually, January 1st, of course, for HTLA Radio, the number 2.com. So, HTLAradio2.com. Also, if you want to get smacked in the face with a big old Christmas website, you can check out HTLAradio1.com. Yes, that's the number 1, just like us. And take in more of our exciting, fantastical shows that seem to offend Anonymous so much. Yes. I love Anonymous, you bunch of pansies. You bunch of pussies that hang out behind a mask. Yeah, big tough men behind masks. I should be outraged. Yes. But then I'd have to be outraged at the KKK for wearing those damned hoods. But I'm not. So, I guess I can't be like Sharpton. I'll have to embrace Anonymous. Love them for all their anonymous mask things. That's what I'll do. Well, thanks for coming back to us to the second segment today. Coffee and Cigarettes Friday Frapp on Saturday. 32 degrees, Central Park right now. Partly cloudy, not too bad. For this December 20th, 2014. Yes, 11 more days now till that 2015 rolls around. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's bring it. Anywho, in the booth tonight with me, of course, as always, is the one and only Jenny McCartney, not to be confused, of course, with Jenny McCarthy, the Playboy Playmate, and, of course, J.J. McCartney, who, that's not him either. And also, of course, joining us live via satellite is the one, the only Louis Lawless from Mill Bay Studios in beautiful Mill Bay, British Columbia.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show? I lived in Greenwich Village for a while when I first started out as an actor.
Really? Well, hey, that's close to Brooklyn. Well, not really close. You could walk it. Well, if you come heavily armed.
Can you give me any help for $25,000?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll get heavily armed to go down to the bank tomorrow, make some withdrawals. Actually, tomorrow's Sunday. Oh, hey, it's New York. Who cares? And I'll get that money to you right away.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Absolutely. I am there. Don't you worry about it. And, of course, Chris Top here, still with his head injury.
It's like my head just, it bounced off the side of it like a basketball. It just bounced and then it hit it again and then bounced a little bit. And I had a big knot on my head for like 3 weeks after. It was like a golf ball. It was horrible.
Yeah, I know. It hurts, too. So let's see. What are we moving on to in the big program today? Well, I'm going to mention again, just because I'm sipping some right now. Today's episode is, of course, partially brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City, now with 8 locations to serve your coffee and baked good needs. Get on down there and take a check out at that. So in our first segment, we covered the 2 unfortunate executions this afternoon of 2 New York City police officers in their car parked on the side of the road. And we've covered Al Sharpton's outrage. Yes, at the killing now of 2 armed police officers of mixed ethnical backgrounds. I guess you kind of got to be outraged at, the death of unarmed teen black men and unarmed other black men, and yes, and then of course you have to be outraged at the, subsequent assassinations of 2 of the ones perpetrating the first. Yes, that makes complete sense. No, it doesn't. But anyway, enough of all that crap. I'm done. Out of there. Let's get on to something fun, shall we? Imagine, if you will, Santa Claus tumbling down the chimney and catching fire by still burning embers. Reindeer on the roof crashing through the ceiling. Frosty the Snowman melting and flooding your basement. Or a candle on the menorah falling into the tablecloth and setting the entire house ablaze. Yes, the good old days. Holiday accidents aren't just a tableau of Clark Griswold in National Lampoon's famous Christmas Vacation film. They're, of course, real threats this time of year because people are morons.
That was a mistake on my part.
Well, I don't think so.
We were 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't.
And that's good, though. See, you don't see. There's opportunity in everything, Louis, because now that you've gone for that Academy Award and failed, I think, for what, the 3rd time now you were nominated and didn't get it? That's good because, had you actually got that, you would have been uber famous and not sitting here with me every day on coffee and cigarettes. So,
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Well, if you do that, then, your fame will go either up or down, and I'm not sure it would go up. So that might be a mistake.
That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, those lovely actions in the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie do actually happen this time of year because we're idiots, right? The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission estimates there are more than 12,000 injuries each year directly related to holiday decorations. Oh, sorry.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
There was a man once named Darwin. Yeah, if we're having 12,000 injuries each year directly related to holiday decorations, I believe this would be part of his theory, and this is actually called thinning the herd. Just so we're clear there. Now, those injuries range from falls and lacerations to back strains and burns, just to name a few, and landing in the hospital isn't the worst that can happen. 10 people actually died due to holiday decoration incidents in 2012. Sorry. The latest year for which data is available, according to the CPSC. No one wants to think of bad things during the happy holidays, but understanding that decorations can be blown about with high winds, that snowmen and ice castles built too close to basement windows can melt and cause a flood, or that the extra weight of snow, along with heavy decorations placed on the roof, can cause it to collapse, are scenarios that should be thought through. Moreover, if you're burning wood in a fireplace to fight off the cold weather, it's worth knowing how to prevent smoke or a house fire. To keep these holidays merry and jolly, here's a few tips and reminders from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Yes, our fine friends at FEMA. Because they care about you. Yes, I'm going to record this soundbite for everybody else. You can get ready? Okay, here we go. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, because we care about you. There you go. Take that clip and stick it in your show. Yeah. Well, keep those candles 12 inches away from anything that might catch fire. Really? 2 out of every 5 home decoration fires are linked, of course, to burning candles. Number 2, unplug the lights on your Christmas tree before bedtime and always make sure that it is watered properly. Also, check for damaged bulbs and frayed wires. Number 3, to stay warm, run your ceiling fans in reverse. This helps circulate warm air that gathers near the ceiling. I've been saying that for years, by the way. Number 4, make sure your gutters and drains are clean and that water drains at least 6 feet from your home's foundation. Yes. Number 5, check your fire extinguishers and ensure everyone in the household, even out-of-town guests, knows where they are and how to use them. And that would be the real underscore part there, the how to use them part. Number 6, consider hiring a contractor to test the soundness of your roof structure and its ability to withstand the weight of snow, ice, and heavy ornaments or relatives. Number 7, let the fireplace cool completely before closing the damper, and always have your chimney professionally inspected and cleaned each year. Never use a charcoal lighter or other volatile chemicals in a fireplace or a wood stove, and do not overuse paper to boost fire. Keep a metal grill in front of the fireplace while burning, and of course, keep flammable objects away from the fireplace, especially off the mantle. Number 8. Which you should already have. This kind of goes without saying. But hey, number 8, consider investing in a sump pump with an alarm that you can keep in the basement. Sensors detect whether the levels and the alarm can alert you if the snowmelt has sopped through windows or cracks. Holiday surprises are best left for when you're opening gifts. It's better to be prepared for the holiday hazards than to be a Griswold. Don't be a Griswold. Get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. There you go.
Always with a female and having a relationship, married or single, it's always better that they do the leaving. If you do the leaving, it creates that lingering thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. I think you're completely out to lunch, but, you know.
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, all right.
You love to do that kind of stuff. You always did. And put your name up there and dress in different stuff. So fantastic. If I can be of any help, let me know. So what's the email address?
If you can be of any help. What, do you want to help me dress up now? I don't know where you get that dress up stuff, man. Well, before we move on here, I should say that we did contact, of course, President Obama this afternoon about the situation in New York City. And he had this to say.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
And that's about all he had to say. Thank you. Yeah, and it's weird, actually, moving around the city today. Normally people in New York, the sidewalks, I'm not even kidding here, the sidewalks here are about 25 feet wide. So you got a front of a building, then you got 25 feet of sidewalk, then you got a street. Right? There's like, in the middle of the day, anywhere around Times Square, there's like, if you took a square 25 feet and pulled that up, you'd be pulling up probably 100 people. I'd say so. The sidewalks are packed, and people move a certain way in this city that I've never seen pretty much anywhere else. It's like a flow. It's like a river, and if you go against that, you just get trampled. So you don't go against that. You just move with it. Yes, like a twig down the shoulders of a mighty stream. That's what you do. That's how you move. That's how things happen here. You just go with it. Interesting thing today, though, is since these 2 officers were assassinated in the car this afternoon, everybody's kind of walking weird. They're walking strangely, backs against the walls of buildings as they pass you. They're, normally you can't make eye contact with a New Yorker to save your life. You stand there 5 feet away from him and scream, "Look at me! Look at me!" And they won't. Today, after this, Yeah, everybody's looking you in the eye. They're looking at you in the eye. They want to know your intentions. They're scared. This is a city of scared people right now. So that's, I guess, another reason why the fine, lovely, beautiful, large-breasted CEO of HTLA decided we should probably get on the air with some semblance of normalcy after our anonymous server attack. And, get back out on those airwaves and let everybody know that it's going to be okay. And rest assured, the next, ice cream salesman that gets killed in California, you can guarantee, you can take it to the bank that Al Sharpton will be outraged on Twitter. You just take that. He will. It's okay. It's all right. Well, now, speaking of hacking, let's move a little bit to a timeline. Yes, a timeline. This is kind of a CNN thing. This is exciting. HTLA is getting into the news biz now. That's it. A timeline. A timeline on North Korea and the Sony Pictures hack. That's what we're going to do next up on the Old Coffee program. We'll be back in 2 minutes, gang.
You're listening to Coffee and Cigarettes with Christopher John Taylor on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Good morning. Welcome to Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where fresh always tastes better. What can I make you this morning?
How about our new flatbread breakfast paninis? Made fresh, just for you, with your favorite breakfast ingredients on maple or multigrain flatbread, then grilled to hot, melted perfection. Just $2.99. Who couldn't warm up to that?
Tim Hortons Cafe and Bake Shop, where quality really does meet value.
I've been eating Egg McMuffins since 1984. But when I saw Taco Bell made a waffle taco, I figured I would get with the times. So I got a haircut and I got some tighter pants. Lost my flip phone, got a smartphone, even took down my Loverboy poster. Now I'm eating waffle tacos and AM Crunch Wraps, and I just made like $700 on Craigslist.
Move on from your old McDonald breakfast with Taco Bell's exciting new breakfast menu.
Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, things go better with Coca-Cola, things go better with Coke. Life is much more fun when you're refreshed, and Coke refreshes you best. It's the refreshingest. Food goes better with fun, goes better with you, go better with Coke. The real live one puts extra fun in you and everything you do, so things go better with Coca-Cola, things go better with Coke.
You walked into the hotel as a 5. But when she saw the room, you turned into a weird 7. When she saw the rooftop pool, you went to 11. You two should probably get a room. Oh, that's right. You already did. At Planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Glasses. White Rum has a new captain. Introducing the all-new Captain Morgan White Rum. 5 times distilled for a smoother taste.
You're listening to Coffee and Cigarettes with Christopher John Taylor on HTLA Radio 1, New York.
Yes, you are, and we know it's Saturday. But you've got tuned, of course, to HTLA Radio 1, New York, and our Coffee and Cigarettes Friday Frappuccino, which did not air yesterday because we was hacked. That's right. And we know it was the same group. We know it was anonymous because a message came up on our computer, said hacked by GOP, and all our internal data has been obtained and shared. Yes. So we know it was them. That's right. Don't you worry. Al Sharpton's coming after you. He's outraged. Well, thanks for joining us on the big program. As always, we've got all kinds of good stuff to cover, of course, this afternoon, evening, / whatever it is for you. And before the break, I said we'd get into, I don't know, what did I say? Oh, yes, the timeline now that we have, of course, about the hacking that was going on. Yeah. So, there you go. Are we okay now? Yeah. Well, we're getting hacked again. It's all over. Okay. Well, yeah. The dreaded cyber attacks, yes. So we've got a timeline now for you. The North Korean and Sony Pictures hack attack. Yeah, there it is. So, I guess I'll get into it. The cyber attack on Sony Pictures Entertainment 4 weeks ago by a group calling themselves the Guardians of Peace resulted in a canceled movie release, leaked personal information, apologies from Hollywood executives caught in embarrassing email conversations, and ultimately a word from U.S. officials that North Korea was behind it all. So tonight, we present for you the timeline of all the key moments in the whole thing. Starting in November of 2014, the 24th of November, actually, Sony Pictures Entertainment was hacked. Employees were locked out of their computer network, and glowing red skeletons appeared on their screens, with an accompanying message that says they've been hacked by the GOP, and all their internal data has been obtained and now will be shared. In the days that followed, personal information, emails, some speculate that North Korea was behind the attack because of Sony's upcoming comedy, The Interview, starring Seth Rogen and James Franco. It's actually about an assassination attempt on Kim Jong-un. Yes. And anybody that would take Seth Rogen seriously needs their head examined.
We're 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award.
Yeah.
And we didn't. I think it should be short and sweet.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Yes, and problems we have, many of them, yes. December 1st, the Federal Bureau of Investigation confirms it is investigating the attack. Investigators are considering whether North Korea may be linked to the incident, according to the Federal Law Enforcement official report for December 1st. December 3rd, an unnamed North Korean diplomat denies the country's involvement in the hack in an interview with Voice of America. Then on December 7th, Korean Central News Agency, a state-run outlet, calls the hacking a, quote, righteous deed, end quote, but calls reports of North Korea's involvement as wild rumor. On December 11th, the interview's West Coast premiere takes place in Los Angeles. The red carpet at the Ace Hotel is open to photographers, but closed to broadcast in print. Producer Scott Rudin and Sony Pictures Entertainment chief Amy Pascal apologized for comments they made in leaked emails. In leaked communications, Rudin called actor Angelina Jolie a, quote, minimally talented spoiled brat. And Rudin, a Pascal exchanged emails that implied that because President Obama is black, he would be inclined to like movies with black actors.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Yes, yeah. I guess that's why we have the British white MI6 officer, the Equalizer, of course, now being Denzel frickin' Washington.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Yes, I guess that's why James frickin' Bond now is black.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Yes, we are, sir. You damn straight we are. December 13th, a screenplay for Spectre. Yes, I'm not even kidding here. The new James Bond was one of the items obtained by the hackers. Producers are now concerned that it may be published by third parties online and issue a statement saying that the movie is protected by copyright around the world. And for those of you who don't know what that screenplay for Spectre contains, it contains the first now, what, Negro, what, African American, what, black, whatever they want to be referred to today, the James Bond now is black. There you go.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
You know, you take my James Bond and you turn him black, yes, sir, we are going to have problems.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Puppet. December 15th, CEO Michael Linton apologized to employees for the, quote, criminal attack and they are experiencing in 2 town hall meetings. That doesn't even make any sense. Okay. 2 former Sony Pictures employees file class action lawsuits saying Sony ignored concerns that their computer system network was weak and left them open to attacks. December 16th, the Guardians of Peace post a message threatening, quote, yeah, stick this in your hat and tell me that there's nothing to worry about. 9/11 type attacks on theaters that screen the interview. Well, I don't think I have to remind anybody, but 9/11 attacks are flying planes into buildings. So Anonymous is now saying that they're going to fly planes into buildings and kill thousands of Americans over a stinking movie. There you go. Following the threat, a number of major theater companies announced they will no longer show the film. The East Coast premiere of the comedy is canceled. The Department of Homeland Security says they have no credible intelligence. There's an active plot against theaters. Well, no, you wouldn't, Homeland Security. Not until it's done. Remember 9/11? Oh, wait. No, you don't. You weren't here yet. December 17th, Sony announces it will no longer be releasing the interview on Christmas Day. Mission accomplished. December 17th also, a U.S. official says that North Korea was responsible for attacking Sony Pictures. The company says it has no plans to release the film now on any platform. Yeah, I'd like to know the dollar amount attached to that, wouldn't you? Yeah. December 19th now, just yesterday, the FBI confirms that North Korea was behind the Sony attack. Also yesterday, at year-end news conference, President Obama says he thought, quote, Sony made a mistake.
That was a mistake on my part.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
In pulling the release of the interview film. There you go. So that's your total timeline from start to finish. There it is, right there, in a nutshell. Next window. Any questions? No. Yeah, I didn't think so. So, there you have it for what it's worth. I don't quite understand all this, to be honest with you. No, I don't. You know, Team America World Police. If you haven't seen that movie, go check it out on Netflix. Damn, there's a fun ride. Yes, it's actually done by Canadian Trey Parker. Some of you may know him, some of you may not, but yes, Team America World Police. What a great movie. I think it's one of my all-time favorites. Yes. And there was no threats issued there. So this is like a new thing. It's like school shootings now. It's going to become all the trend and the fad. Let's bring the motion picture industry to its knees simply by issuing threats and hacking computers because we can. We are anonymous. We are legion, I think is what they say, to be all scary and stuff. So, yeah, whatever. You know what? Nothing's scarier than walking down New York City streets tonight. I'll tell you that. So you just stick that in your mask and sweat on it or whatever. Now let's turn to something a little more constructive, shall we? Louis, what do you think? We should go constructive, right?
$88,000 a year they make, approximately average, 80s, let's say. And there's 1,000. That's $88 million a year that we're paying as taxpayers.
Yes. For what, though?
Wait a minute, I got lost. HTLA. Oh, HTLA. Hell is that?
I don't know.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Yes, I do. And I might actually have a job for you, Louis, here in the next story. Yes, male role models in schools help reduce misbehavior. See, we could send you down to Cowichan Regional High School there or whatever, and you could be a mentor there and help lower the risks of kids acting out. How would that be? Wouldn't that be cool? Louis, are you there?
We're 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award, and we didn't.
Right. Okay. Well, in Louisville, Kentucky, when Hawthorne Elementary parent Greg Whittington pulled the White Watch DOGS T-shirt over his checkered button-down and became the school's watchdog, the day's designated male volunteer with duties like aiding students, patrolling the lunchroom, and administering high fives in the hallway. In the past few years, Jefferson County Public Schools has pushed to get fathers and grandfathers and other men into the classroom. You bunch of sickos.
That was a mistake on my part.
During the December 15th Board of Education meeting, the district nearly doubled the number of schools participating in the National Watchdogs Dads of Great Students program, an initiative through the National Center of Fathering that encourages fathers' involvement in education and exposes kids to have positive role models. It also lets the teachers take a little breather and don't have to teach as hard.
That was a mistake on my part.
No, not you. No, it's them.
He called me, and he called me. He kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
And so you shouldn't have, because you just would have said the same thing he says all the time now, which is...
we are inevitably going to have problems.
See? So don't worry about it. There. I've just told you what he was going to say. Now you didn't miss anything. Hawthorne Elementary is one of 26 schools now using this DOGS program, and the district estimates the total of 60 schools that have implemented some sort of, quote, male engagement program. Geez, next they're going to be having the Roman Catholic Church send a bunch of priests. Yes, I said that. Sorry. We have a lot of fractured homes where there's a lot of students that do not have fathers as male role models, said John Marshall, the district's chief equity officer. What the hell is that? Who's doing the Board of Education chief equity officer thing? What? Equity? What the hell do schools know about equity? That's what I'd like to know.
You know, a couple of years ago, and I thought this just happened to old men. Maybe that's saying something. I don't know. Yeah. But I fell in the shower, and people made fun of me forever. They said I should have got one of those little ducky things.
Oh, there you go. See, beware, because, you're going to have guys showing up to schools wanting to volunteer to hang out with the little kiddies and high five and all that kind of stuff.
It's like my head just, it bounced off the side of it like a basketball. It just bounced, and then it hit it again, and then bounced a little bit. And I had a big knot on my head for like 3 weeks after. It was like a golf ball. It was horrible.
Well, the program is helping the district reach that group of kids, he said, as well as students who may struggle in the classroom. Marshall said schools are seeing a decline in misbehavior, although the district has not kept hard data or how the program is actually affecting students.
Why is it one time a month women go insane for 30 days?
Thank you, Chris. Whittington's day at Hawthorne Elementary began with greeting kids as they got off the bus and visiting classes with students. Who could really use an extra person who cares about them, apparently, according to Jessica Rosenthal. First grade teacher Kelly McNearney briefed Whittington, a 7-year-old student Robert Stewart, who said he had fallen below the reading level and could benefit from additional one-on-one.
We were 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award, and we didn't.
Mm-hmm. Robert struggled to identify letters of the alphabet on a sheet of paper until Whittington turned their chairs towards the wall to minimize distractions. After that, Robert did so well that Whittington had to make it more difficult. I'm going to make it really hard to flip it upside down, Whittington explained as he spun the paper around. Robert giggled.
I lived in Greenwich Village for a while when I first started out as an actor.
Well, I tell you, you're pretty freaking lucky right now that you're not there, because everybody's looking around at each other like we're all going to kill each other. I don't know what the heck it is. It's scary. Good job, man, Whittington celebrated. I can't fool you. Ha ha ha. Yes, Whittington, 64, a medical researcher with the University of Louisville, Kentucky, said the importance of male role models became apparent to him early in his career when he served as director of a residential treatment center for the emotionally disturbed delinquents. and observed a pattern among clients. Most lacked positive male guidance. There we go. Hang on one sec. I'm going to pause for a little coffee. I want coffee.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays!
Go get me more, CEO. There she goes. Yes. So where the hell was I? Oh, yes. It's important that children have a positive role model, he said in an interview. A male that's doing good for them. Something they can relate to give them the idea that they're worthwhile and education is worthwhile. During the course of the school day, Whittington visited 4 classrooms, including that of his 5th grade daughter, Riley. He said the children were generally receptive, offering hugs when they noticed he was a watchdog. I think that the kids work with individually. I think that the kids I work with individually seem to be very appreciative, and when we're finished, don't want to stop our interactions, he said. They seem to enjoy the one-on-one time. I bet they do, you sicko. Now, the Watchdogs program costs each school $365 the first year, with $195 for each year after that. Really? You get some pedophile in a dog's t-shirt and you're charging him $365 a year? That's I'm going to build that business model. That is sweet. The individual schools cover the costs, although the district advocates funds to the schools with large percentages of low-income students for parent engagement programs such as Watchdogs. Dr. Brian Carter, a pediatric psychologist at Corsair Children's Hospital, said programs like Watchdogs could be especially helpful for the behavioral development of young boys, because boys seem to respond differently to men than women. Oh, sorry. Oh, my God. I can't believe this is an actual story. Many boys are, quote, wired to rebel against mothers and other female authority figures. Yeah, you know why? Because men are supposed to be men. Female authority figures is an oxymoron. Sorry. That's just...
Sex is only the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, well, as Mr. Obama says...
we are inevitably going to have problems.
You betcha. You put a woman in charge and that's...
we are inevitably going to have problems.
Yeah, I know. You don't got to tell me I'm there, man. I'm with you, brother.
He called me, and he called me, and he kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
Yes. So boys are wired to rebel against women because, damn it, they're not supposed to be in charge, you morons. Bringing in male figures often curbs disruptive behavior, he said. No, let's be clear about what we're saying here. You're bringing in the muscle to support your feminist role, you pansy women. Yeah, but no, I won't go there. I'll digress, because that's not what this is about. Tune in for Crash Talk next Tuesday. Repeated exposure to these positive male role models is really going to help with children's character development and with their perception of the world of adult males. Yeah, you mean the world of adult she-males now, because we've taken away men's masculinity. You show me a 20-year-old that isn't wearing those stupid pointed elf shoes and wearing these ridiculous single-breasted tiny little suits that make us look like little wussy-wussies. You know, think about it. Back in the 1940s, 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s. Actually, I think in the 80s, the suits got the biggest, those big double-breasted, big-shouldered suits. Now, those were suits. I used to have a whole closet full of those suckers. They were awesome. Now what do we got? Oh, these tiny little, thin little single-breasted suits with a little tiny, we could get like a little leather tie and stuff, and it's really cute. And we got little pointy elf shoes, and the girls just think, they just go nuts for us. And it's just, wow, get some masculinity. Thank you. Moving on. Rosenthal said providing that consistency is vital to the program's goal. Yes, to allow kids to form relationships with the volunteers. Ooh, here we go, Chris.
Why is it one time a month women go insane for 30 days?
I don't know. Rosenthal said the Watchdogs program has encouraged students' father figures to become more involved in their children's education outside the program. She said it also communicates a valuable message to students. I don't know. I like the old school stuff. You know what? Don't talk to strangers. Don't have some fully grown man come into a classroom. Let me get this straight. I'm sorry. I got to understand this just for my own sanity. You've got fully grown men. No background checks, no criminal record checks. No, I'm pretty sure. I'm willing to bet on this. And you got them coming in these cute little watchdog graphic T-shirts, and they come in and they watch the kids, and they want to be mentors to the little boys. Apparently, it's more geared to the little boys because they need that manly role model in their life, which they can't get at home because all the women are divorced because they divorced their husbands and because they couldn't tell them what to do, and, of course, divorced them, took them for everything they had. Now they sit on the assets and want little Jimmy to go off to school to get to know some stranger in a watchdog T-shirt so he can go off with them after school hours and do apparently, quote, good things. Does anybody see a problem with this? I do.
That was a mistake on my part.
No, I don't think this is your program, Louie. It doesn't have your trademark on it. When they see father figures at school, it's a good reminder to all of our kids that the value of education extends beyond their moms valuing it, she said. Dads value it as well. Yes, that's right, little Jimmy. Your dad isn't in class today, but here's this bearded stranger that's kind of weird, and he's got this fun little T-shirt. You just look at the doggy. Shh. Shh. Just look at the doggy. Yeah, come on. Man, I think I'm going to stop what I'm doing right now. I'm going to quit radio. I'm going to quit film and television. I'm going to quit everything I do. I am going to law school because in 4 years, I am going to have so many court cases to represent. It's not even funny. Oh, and this just in. The U.S. releases 4 Afghanistan people from Guantanamo Bay. Yes, they've been returned to their home country from the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center in Cuba, as President Obama continues his effort to close the 13-year-old facility because now we're going to just invade Cuba and take it all.
We are inevitably going to have problems.
Until we take it over, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. Ooh, my God. Also, this just in, breaking news. Rahm Emanuel's son has been robbed near the family's Chicago home. Yes, Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel's son was the victim of a strong-armed robbery near the family's home late tonight. The mayor's office said Officer Thomas Sweeney confirmed the juvenile male was walking on the mayor's block in Chicago Ravenswood neighborhood when he was approached by 2 unknown black men who grabbed the teen and went through his pockets and took his cell phone. Quick, somebody call the cops. There's more executions to go on there.
That was a mistake on my part.
Yeah.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
Well, gang, sadly it's that time again. I got to get the heck out of here. I got another show to be at 11, 10:29 now in the big city. Still 32 degrees, Central Park, partly cloudy, and everybody's freaking scared and paranoid. So watch out there and don't go out unless you've got your sidearm and AR-15 ready to go. That's my advice. I'm going to go to the gun locker now at HTLA and grab mine and suit up and head out to Tim Hortons for a coffee on the way home. So you have a good rest of the weekend. We'll catch you Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern, for coffee and cigarettes once again. And on behalf of Jenny and Louie and everybody else here at HTLA, happy holidays, have a great Christmas, and we'll see you soon.
From all of us at HTLA Radio 1 New York, happy holidays!